I currently make $100 a day flipping phones, and I'm about to show you exactly how I do it step by step. Yes, I actually do this myself, unlike a lot of YouTubers who don't practice what they preach. I do, and I'm going to show you proof of that as well, so you're not skeptical at all. It's currently April 15th at the time of this video's recording, and here are my earnings so far this month. And in case you couldn't see that, you're welcome to go back and pause on that. Here's a zoomed in version with the phones I flipped that were cut off from the bottom, so I couldn't even include all that I've sold so far this month. I think it's around 25 or so for a total of $1,819 in profit. Again, you're welcome to pause here, but I do have to move on. And you don't just have to take my word for it. You can also take Tom's, who has made over $4,000 in the last month or so reselling phones, or take Juan's, who on his very first day flipping phones made $140 on just one iPhone. Now that you know how it works, let's talk about how you can get started today. Anyone can go out and make $100 or $200 a week. It requires a specific process, however, to do that on the daily and not just get lucky once or twice. And there is a $100 a day checklist that I give to all my premium phone flipping group members that I will be revealing to you for free today in this video. All my members get access to my $3,000 and 30-day blueprint, which naturally leads to $100 a day. That's what I try to teach, but there is no $3,000 in 30 days without making the daily $100 and following the process it requires to get there. And that's just a minimum, which is exactly why I created this $100 a day checklist. And it is as follows. You want to message every new iPhone listing on Facebook Marketplace. Message every new iPhone listing on OfferUp. You want to buy at least one phone, sell at least one phone, negotiate in person when buying phones, check for new listings every 30 minutes throughout the day, and list new phones as soon as you get them. And I'm going to go into detail on each of these. So as far as messaging new listings goes, Facebook Marketplace is king. That's the place I buy about 90% of my phones, and it's the place I sell almost 100% of my phones. OfferUp has value here and there, so it's worth checking every day because you can make a few extra $100 a month or so, and those are good amounts of money that you don't want to leave on the table. However, generally speaking, Facebook Marketplace is going to be the number one place, especially in America. I don't even think OfferUp is a thing in other countries. I know Canada has some other things. Pretty much every other country has its own thing. If you're watching this from the US, OfferUp is a good place to check. Keep in mind, Facebook Marketplace is always going to be the best, and on a national scale, or global scale rather, Facebook Marketplace is number one without a doubt. If there's an OfferUp alternative in your region, use that. Same principles apply, but Facebook Marketplace is the number one. You cannot afford to let a good offer go to someone else, and that's just kind of the mindset you have to have when you're doing this. You have to beat out your competition. You can't let someone else just take the money from you. You got to make sure you go get it. And this should be the first thing you do, whether it's waking up in the morning or whenever you first check your phone, or maybe you're just starting from scratch. This is your first time hearing about this. The very first thing you should do is go on Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp and message every phone listing that's available and try and talk them down to a good price that you can resell at. The next step is the daily buying and selling. So for me personally, I make probably $75 to $85 average profit margin for every phone I sell. So if I'm selling one phone a day, that's around 75 to 85 profit a day, hence the at least. So when we go back, if you look back at the goals, I said you should be buying at least one phone a day and selling at least one phone a day to stay on pace. Really, if you're having the same margins as me, which you should be able to do, you should buy 5 phones every 4 days to make sure you stay on pace for that $100 a day, assuming it's $75. And likewise, you would need to sell 5 phones every 4 days to make sure you keep the cash flow. Because if you're not selling phones, you're just buying them, and you're not able to offload them quickly, and you're actually really setting yourself back because you have a bunch of stuff, really just capital that's stored up in assets that you need to offload to keep the cash flowing. So that's super essential, and it's a key part of this process as well. In-person negotiation is probably one of the biggest things I've discovered in the last month or so. It's actually tremendously improved the amount I'm able to make each and every day, week, and month. And it's the quickest and easiest money you will ever make. I can guarantee this. I'll give some personal examples, literally just from the last 2 days. Today I was meeting up with someone who had a phone. They told me the box was going to be with it. When I got there, they were like, hey, sorry, I forgot the box. I left it at my house because I met them at their workplace. I was like, oh, no, it's fine. Could you do 380 instead of 400 since you forgot the box? They're like, yeah, it's cool. Obviously, the box is worth maybe $2, if that. So getting $20 off just for asking the question is huge. And that's just going to improve my margins that much. And just yesterday, I was buying another phone, and it was $450. It was 13 Pro Max. I said, hey, would you take 400? And she kind of paused for a second thinking about it. And I said, I'm a broke college student. It would help me a lot. And most people want to do kind things. And that's not even a lie for me. Even though I'm making money here, I got a lot of expenses, obviously. So little things like that. There's other things. If the phone isn't as advertised, or maybe it has low battery health, you can still buy it, but understand, hey, you didn't tell me there's going to be a few small scratches on the screen, which really won't even affect the price you sell it at, but it can sway the price that you buy it at if you negotiate properly, and also just be nice to people in general. And usually people are going to be willing to give you a few bucks off, or will just feel bad about saying no. So just asking a question alone yesterday made me 50, and it made me another 20 today. So that's an extra 70 bucks I wouldn't have made if I was too scared to ask the question. So the worst people can say is no. You have to do this. It makes such a difference. It took my margins personally from around $60 per phone to now close to $85 a phone, which is a huge swing. Another 25 bucks a phone. If I could figure out another way to do that, it would be huge for my business. Now, checking for new listings every 30 minutes. I can't stress this enough. Speed is the key to beating your competition and other buyers. So you have to understand, on Facebook Marketplace, there's going to be a few other phone flippers in your region, most likely. If not, then you're set up pretty good. But also there's a lot of locals who are just looking for a new phone, because that's how they're buying phones anyways. That's how you find buyers rather, when you're selling the phone. So you have to understand this, that people are going to be looking for phones, and you need to make sure you're checking all the time for new listings, so that way you can get them quick from other people. Now, you can manually check, which I've done for the longest time, but as of recently, I actually have been using a software which will refresh the listings for me and then notify me once there's a new one. So I can just touch the notification on my phone and go in and see the listing immediately. Now, this is a bit pricey, and if you're just starting off, I would not recommend it, but I am looking at creating something like this myself somewhere down the road. It would just save me more money, and I would let other people use it for a much better price than what I'm currently paying for it. But so far, it seems to be worth it for me. So if you're maybe experienced and want to get into this, leave a comment or something, and I can help you out with that. Now, finally, list new phones as soon as you get them. Again, speed is everything. If you buy a phone, you should list it immediately. If you wait a day, you're going to fail to hit your daily checklist, especially in the long run. You're just sitting on an asset that's worth money. You need to list it and make sure you're getting money for it right away. Really, it just comes down to speed and moving cash quickly. You don't want to have cash tied up. It's so crucial just to keep things moving all the time. And remember, these are the exact steps I personally follow every single day to produce the numbers that you saw back at the beginning of the video. Now, if you're still confused about the process or what the day-to-day process looks like to make $100 a day with this method, I've put together a free case study that explains my story of how I went from broke to $4,000 a month flipping phones, and explains a lot more in detail the actual process itself. And you can access it here, phone-flipping-mastery.com. It's also linked in the bio. I hope you check this out. It's going to help you so much, help you get on the path to $100 a day, $3,000 a month, and starting your own phone reselling business. Can't wait to help you out.